Hello, hello. Here we are again coming to you from Broadcast Team Alpha on 44 different platforms around the world. And we're going to have some fun because we have Katrina Sperling-Koffel coming back with us to Broadcast Team Alpha. And yes, I know this is the Paranormal World Show under the umbrella of Broadcast Team Alpha. And what we're going to talk about reaches into the paranormal, because the definition of paranormal I looked it up in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and they say it is not scientifically explainable. But I think that definition has to be redone now, because if we deal with quantum mechanics, much of what is in the paranormal can be explained. So yes, and I'm the show host here for today, and we're talking to you from probably on YouTube. If you're watching it there, that's the best place to do, because we also monitor the chat room there. And we are also transmitting on the Conscious Awakening Network, and you got to go visit those guys. They have 50 different shows over there or so, and about the paranormal too, but also a lot of other stuff, health related things that we need to know about. So that's at consciousawakeningnetwork.org. Just go see them. I think you're gonna like it over there. And yes, we have Katrina Sperling-Koffel with us, and I want to say a few things about her. And also, for those of you that like to surf the internet while you listen to shows, I'll give you her website. It is lightlifetechnology.com. lightlifetechnology.com. And she's a highly educated person in the University of Hard Knocks. I love that term. And but also highly educated in the public institutions of higher learning. And in her bio, it says something about she was practicing the art of living. Gosh, isn't that what we're all doing? For 46 years before she met a man named Slim, who became her husband. And he introduced her to a different form of science, the science of the future. One that has not been accepted by the mainstream yet, because there is no money in it. And plus it involves the mind. And the science, they really want nothing to do with the mind, because that expands our capabilities and our freedom of thought. And we start discovering how powerful we really are. And God knows they just don't want that. They want to make sure that we are controlled. And when she was on the Broadcast Team Alpha show last time, we talked about the different products they are creating from the inventions and the science that Slim brought forward. It involves sacred geometry, and it has many, many different resultant effects in the physical reality from just something that looks so simple. And welcome to the show, Katrina.
Thanks for having me again. Happy to be with you.
Yeah. We got to talk just a little bit about it last time, about some of the effects that comes from this sacred geometry that has been created, and you have. Could you talk a little bit about maybe the results that people are getting from using these products?
Yes, I'm happy to. Let's start with the because the ring was the first thing that Slim invented. And actually, what's different from if you have a standard ring, our rings are twisted so that you have if you take a pendulum, you will have a right spin on both sides. And if you take a normal wedding ring, for example, you will find with the pendulum, one side goes to the right and the other to the left. So when you put your wedding ring on, make sure the right side goes to your arm, and so you have positive energy coming your way. With our rings, you don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and when we talked earlier, when I was saying what you said about the paranormal, reminded me of what Slim was explaining, that the ring, like, it seems to be a different time in here, like we have a 0 point energy field. And this could say this is the normal and this is the paranormal, because here magic can happen. And so like it pulls in life force energy. So it enhances the scalar energy. And so we gave those rings, talking about a really amazing result. I sent a few to schools in California where they were treating, working with autistic children and other children that had mental issues, were mentally retarded a bit. And so what they used this ring as a crown. So they put it on, they called it the crown, and within 30 days, 2 classes were transformed. One had 11 kids and the other one 13. And so the kids were just, the teacher explained, just like that, and all of a sudden they could focus, they could put sense to what they saw on the board. They were not scared anymore. And another side effect, our tools have side effects, they started building friendships. And before, the teacher said sometimes we didn't have space for out time because they were all busy. And now all of a sudden, oh, you're not feeling well, let me give you the crown. So they put the crown on you. And so they started intellectually improve, emotionally and mentally, and had a social environment that didn't have before. And so this ring has so many applications. You can put it anywhere on your body where you have issues. When I go to Europe, I sit on it. I have hardly any jet lag. And what I'm also doing now, I'm taking two so that I can always sit on one. And when the pilot says, oh, the flight attendant have to sit down, we are going through the next half an hour through a severe weather front, I take my ring. I focus on the direction we are going, and with the intention that the weather front calms down. And it takes about 7 minutes, and that was it. There was no more turbulences, and I have done that over and over again, and I just love it. So this is one that Slim always had with him. You can put it over your fruit. You can enhance any issues that need enhancing, basically. It's amazing.
Mm. Yeah, there's something about the winding. It is, if it was just one string, it may not have had the same effect, but it's spiral wound all the way around.
Yeah.
And is that gone one way and then the other way, or how do you wind that?
So how we wind it, we take a piece of wire, we fix it on one end, and then we are going as far as we can go in our shop, which is much further now, and fix it there, and then we go back, and the two ends are basically fixed on one side, and then we go with a drill and go to the end where the loop is, and then we start twisting it with a drill, so that it has exactly the inches, the windings we want per inches, depending on which ring we are making.
Yeah.
So basically, when we cut them, it's still one piece of wire, even it looks like there are two pieces.
Yeah, and there is something about copper or even gold when you wind it or when you put it around something, because there is something in agriculture and people's People use it for plants. If you have a plant that is not doing all that well, or one that you want to have grow better, put up a winding of copper around the plant, and that thing will come alive on you, and it will grow much faster than one that was standing next to it, and you treat them the same. And the one that is not, have not got copper wire around it, it'll grow normally, and the other one will grow a lot faster. So there is something to the energy that is created within this winding. And this for plants, it's undisputable. It happens 100% of the time. So now we're talking about what you're doing here. It is a form of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry interacts with the field, the unified field. And through a matching of vibration, that has a resultant effect in the physical, because it brings life energy with it. So when we are introducing life energy into the physical, it will improve absolutely anything. It could improve the mind of the children you talked about that was autistic, or plants, or animals, yes, and absolutely everything. And that is one of the reasons why you're having such phenomenal effect with this.
Yeah.
What about some other effects of things? Like, I know it can clean the air in a
Yes,
room.
we can clean the air. And this is something, especially now when we can have more and more concerns about what's happening in the environment, what's going down to us. This is called an environmental harmonizer. And in the early 90s, Slim was called to a very wealthy person who was, they found that someone was trying to poison him with anthrax. And so the last resort was Slim. And at the time, there was only a tape. And so Slim took his harmonizer and played the environmental clearing CD in the harmonizer. But he also, because he was a herbalist, he was self-taught, and then a Native American told him the power of the puffball. And that is a mushroom that when you step on it, the spurs come out, and this is why it's called a puffball. And the puffball has antibacterial and antiviral properties. So Slim put a piece of the puffball in the harmonizer. Then he activated it by putting earbuds on the harmonizer and played the environmental clearing frequency. Did that for an hour, and then they did radionic with the help of a radionic device, check the environment, and all the anthrax was gone, and all the harmful bacteria were gone. And so for us, and of course, who knows where to find a puffball, but just thinking about what we can do, we can use antibacterial homeopathics, we can use antibacterial, antiviral homeopathic remedies. We put them on a little tissue and tuck it in the harmonizer. And then we are activating it with the environmental frequency, which when you get a harmonizer, you can download the MP3 file or you get a CD with it automatically. And then you can clean your environment. You don't have to worry about that. Like when, I think, when was it, around 2000 something, and when they were sending anthrax to politicians or people that they felt should be killed with anthrax. So Slim put a little piece of puffball in the personal harmonizer. So this way he felt safe in wherever we were, because when you have a personal harmonizer, it resonates a little depending on which one you have. But when you're speaking, it expands the field, just like with because of the frequency, as you mentioned. So that's really there are so many things with the environmental harmonizer, diverting tornadoes and hurricanes, and just cleaning air pollution in general. And Slim explained it to me that because the harmonizers emanate the negative ions and the tornadoes are built with positive ions, or I cannot explain it, I'm not the
Mm-hmm.
scientist.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the energy of the harmonizer seems to override the positive ions that are harmful for us and that are creating the tornadoes. And so that's how the tornadoes collapse. And customers, they say, hey, you know, on the satellite picture, the weather people say, we don't know what happened, but the tornado went around our city. Look at the picture. And that's really fun.
Yeah. I'm wondering, does it work as a mind-matter interface? Or, with other words, if you just take the harmonizer, put it somewhere and forget it, compared to if you put it somewhere and then engage your mind and visualize and intend for it to do a specific thing. Would there be a difference in effect between those two?
Yes, the harmonizer always try to bring harmony. So that's what they are designed for. That's what the intention goes in there. They are not overriding our free will. So if they might show someone what they need to do to bring harmony about their life, so they don't override our will. However, what we can do, we can put it in our hands, and you can, like, if you're traveling and you're going to take it with you, you can ask for a smooth ride. Some people swear that it saved their life by having a harmonizer in the car, and some even say, you know, like it's almost like time travel. You know, they talk to someone and then they hang up and they were 2 hours away by a normal distance, and the next thing they are in front of the person they called. And so
Mm.
they say that's part of what the harmonizer has been doing. So it's when you put your intention in there, you can definitely get much better results. And like, you know, what happened to our wash tub when our friend,
Oh,
the,
now that's a grown up, that's a grown up
that's a
one.
grown up, absolutely. And when we, uh, our friend in Montana, she has a 3,000-acre ranch where she raises buffalo. And when there was a drought, she was activating the harmonizer. She put her prayers in there. She put her whole intention in there. And I mean, you can also feel it. You know, when I put my intention in there, it's like, this is what I did. This is one that has a storm chaser inside and then a lost cupid outside. So, but we had chemtrails really bad. And my employee pointed that out to me. He said, have you looked at the sky? And it was like a checkerboard, you know. And so I went in our kitchen and I held the storm chaser and I put my really intention in there. I had like a holy rage. And I said, you take care of the chemtrail. Then I left, went back, and my employer said, oh my God, did you see it? It didn't take very long, and all the chemicals were gone. So this is what you can really affect with your intention.
Yeah.
And and it, you know, if you always go for the highest and best, the results are really limited by your intention and by your mind.
Mm. Yeah, sacred geometry is not very well understood in mainstream science. I think many scientists, they know there's something there, but they don't know what, and they don't want to mess with it because it's taboo for them, because they don't want to go out first and say, yes, this is what it works, because then they can lose funding and they get pushed
Yeah.
out of the industry, and they have all kinds of stuff happening. And but do you have other testimonies?
I have other testimonials, yes. And let's just take this one. This is our seed of life.
Wow.
And so it has 7 rings in incorporated, and outside a lost cupid ring. Those are half sacred cupid rings. And this one, we also have it in smaller in pendants, which I don't have one here right now, but this seems to raise the vibration on a cellular level. And again, a story with my friend Tana. She was up in the ranch, very far away from her house, from her ranch, and she was with her little dog. And so we created that actually for her mom, because her mom had a lot of stomach issues. She was very tall and very skinny. And so she always had that under her shirt to help with her stomach issues. And so anyway, so they were up, and her little dog, she called him Little Bear, was running around. And so on the way down, she was like, "Where's Little Bear?" And then she saw him in the rearview mirror, and she could see that he had foam around his mouth. And so she stopped, and they caught him, and so he was bit by a snake. And so her friend in the back, she was holding him, and then she said, "You have to stop and say goodbye to him. He's barely breathing." And Tanahashi was racing down, didn't want to hear. And then her mom said, "The star." She called it the star. And so her mom got the star, and Denise put it over Little Bear. And then by the time they were finally at the ranch, Little Bear already started breathing again, and she gave him some tincture or whatever, something I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly. And she called the vet and say, "Hey, can we come by? Little Bear was bitten by a snake." And when they were at the doctor's, the doctor, if he wouldn't see the bite where the snake were biting him, he couldn't even tell that anything ever happened to him.
Wow.
And so, and we have the smaller one, it's called the lotus pendant. And people were saying, like, two different one, the daughter of Hannah Kruger. They say if you would wear the silver one for 60 days or the gold-plated one for 30 days, it would change our DNA back to its original blueprint.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that, is pretty amazing. But that has so many applications. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have a friend in Colorado that got some of your equipment, and he told me something on the telephone that I gotta mention it because uh, he is a plumber, and he worked outside of on the wall of a house working on some electronic wiring, and there was rain showers coming in. There was rain, and he thought, working with electrics during rain is not a good thing. So he wore this ring on his head, and he wears it all the time now, from what I understand. And he intended for, yes, the rain is coming, but it will not rain here. And
Okay.
the rain came all around him, but it didn't rain where he was. You may have talked to him, and he may have told you the story too, because it was all around him, but not where he was. So that tells me that the sacred geometry that he had in that ring around his head was interacting with his mind and the field, and they created this safe space for him to finish his work with the electronics on the wall. And now when they get into the really in the nitty gritty, yeah, that's the one. And
One.
I don't exactly how it interacts there, but there is a connection in much of vibration with his thoughts, the equipment, and the unified field. They
Yeah,
agree on one thing, that we're not going to have rain.
exactly. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Gosh. Oh, I know you probably have more testimonies too.
Sure, I do. And one of the things I think If you remember when Slim was in South Africa, that was in 2000, and he had a meeting with Credo Mutlo, and he showed him a harmonizer that was the gold-plated one. And so Credo was laughing, and he said, "There's nothing new on the planet." We used exactly that for bringing peace to the tribes. When tribes were in disharmony, they came, the elders with that on their staff, and they were creating peace in bringing peace and harmony to the different tribes. So that's really fun. And yeah, this is what I learned in our last workshop. There was a lady there, and she was sharing that one of her friends, she was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and she had to go on the chemo, but the doctor only said, well, probably 3 months. And so she gave her one of the pendants that I'm wearing, the Tibetan pendant, and she was wearing the Tibetan pendant. She went to chemo. She didn't have any side effects, no hair loss, no nausea, all the good stuff that usually comes with it. And that was 2 years ago, and she's still around. So that is just mind-blowing to me. And
Yeah.
disclaimer, we cannot guarantee that this always happens, so when it happens, I think it's so, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Or this one, I gave that to instructor where I took a workshop, and he told us he had 2 weeks ago open heart surgery. He had heart problems for 30 years. Gave him a ring. I said, "Do you want to try that?" And he put it in his shirt pocket. And so, and then he was, like we had the program, and he passed by my and said, "I think your stuff is working." And so later he said he didn't have to use the defibrillator the whole day. And then he sent me a testimonial and said, my cardiologist said, "I just have to live with it. I had heart issues for over 30 years. And since I'm wearing the ring, it's gone." And I saw him on a Zoom call in December last year, 2023. That was in 2020, March, and just before the lockdown. And then I sent a message and I said, "Hey, how is your heart doing?" And he said, "My heart is completely healed."
Mm.
I mean, after 30 years, with just a little ring like that,
Mm.
hey, how cool is that?
Wow,
You
man.
know,
That,
that's doing what I'm doing.
yeah, that's wonderful. I got a question though, because being on 44 different platforms transmitting here, I am wondering, it's got to be at least 2 people out there that listening to this, and they wonder, yeah, sure, but will it work for me? I'm not so sure if it works. I want to, should I try it? People on the fence like this, and we got to shake the pole so they fall off on one of these sides. And I think we can do that because I believe, and please comment on it afterwards, I don't think you necessarily have to totally believe it, but try it. And use your mind with it. Whether you believe it or not, it may not make all that big of a difference. It can still work. And after you have the first success story, then you will believe. Am I close?
Yes, you are. And I mean, just the gentleman with the heart issues, he had no idea what I'm giving him. He just liked me, and he said, "Sure, cannot help. Oh, it feels good. I put it in there." He had no idea. He was not a believer, and he was not a skeptic. He was just open. And this is how Slim created everything. Just let's see what happens when I do this. Or this ring I put over my dog's head when the doctor said he should have surgery and arthrosis and arthrosis and blah blah blah. I put the ring over him, and I had a little other item, and he also got acupuncture. But he didn't need to have surgery. Do you think my dog said, oh, I have to believe, and then if mama puts that on my head, over my head, I'm going to be healed? Of course not. Or my flowers. I buy weekly or whenever, no, not weekly, that's not true because I don't need it. When I buy flowers, and sometimes they are a little on the one side, I put them in one of those rings, and the other flowers I had almost 3 weeks. You know, do you think they believed in it?
Mm.
You know, so, and you know, we have pictures from Immortal Lab, how the ring actually structures the water in sacred geometry. And you don't have to believe in that. I mean, this is a heirloom. You can use that for so many different things. You can wear it when you're hiking. You can get better gas. It's even the gold wears off, it still works because it's the measurement and it's the combination. So there's nothing. What can you lose really? You
Yeah.
know, what can you lose really? I mean, I don't even know how much there are. I think about $45 or something. So
Another question that just popped into my mind right now, and that is that is this equipment, does that become personal to you as a pendulum would? When you have a pendulum, you know, it's better if you are the one that is using it only. Does this come that way, or if you have a family of 5, can they all use it at times and it'll work equally on all of them, or is there anything that you have seen in that area?
well, when we have the pendant, the lotus pendant, which is like either this size or a little smaller, those pendants pick up the energy, or this unit picks up the energy from the person. So what we say is before you give it to someone else, you clean it, you're going back and forth and up and down, and then the energy is neutral again. But the other
Oh,
harmonizers, you can share them, and of course, when you have them for a while, they are uh, responding to you because they are with your energy. But it doesn't mean that someone else, like you get this and you want to share it with someone, or you put it over a glass of wine and it improves, or over water and it tastes
okay.
better. You can do that with everyone.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So how do you clean it, with water maybe, or like the harmonizer?
The harmonizer, I would say make sure that you're um, I will put it over the short, or they come with little pouches. So depending how acid your skin is, they might lose the blading sooner or later. So that's really what it depends on. So you can wear it, like I'm wearing mine directly on my skin, but you can also have a shirt and wear it on top of your shirt. And they do tarnish over time because silver tarnishes. That's just one of the properties that silver has. Gold usually takes longer, but again, it depends on the care people have and on the acidity of the skin. If your skin is very acid, then the blading may come off faster.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I have a a wild theory. You got to remember, this is the paranormal show. So I have a wild theory,
Uh-huh.
but there is some science behind it. And that is that when you have this little ring in the middle of it, you create a gravity field.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's made of gold, maybe plated copper, or it can be just of copper or gold. It doesn't make any difference. When you have a circle like that, and if you can try this, folks. This you can try. If you have a copper tube, take a little magnet and put the North Pole up and try to drop it through the tube. Once it enters the tube, it slows down. It doesn't fall through as it would outside of the tube. So it slowly comes down and then it falls out the bottom. Same thing with your circle, that device. Because it is a circle, inside of that, even though it's not that tall, it creates a very minute gravity field.
Mm-hmm.
This gravity has an interdimensional aspect to it. So you are actually touching outside of the physical, where you have a much better chance of connecting with the unified field.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, this was the tube that was new to me. I never heard of that, but it's fascinating to try that. I love that. And it's definitely like what I was saying earlier, it's like a 0 point energy field. And so it's different than what we have outside.
Yeah.
And this is the combination of the measurement of the wire twisted and the material we are using. That all adds to having this amazing healing effect.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried to take Killian photo of any of the devices?
No, not of the devices, but of people wearing it, like before and after. And it was almost always a much brighter and stronger energy field around the person when they were wearing one of the devices, one of the
Mm-hmm.
harnesses.
And for those of you out there that has purchased any of these devices, if you can find someone that can help you take a Killian photo of the device itself, I bet you're going to see a little bit of a blue halo around it, because that is the signature of life force in the physical. And I have pictures on my hand where I have light coming out of the fingertips about that far. And I put the fingers right on the plate, and I have a big circle around the fingers. When I lay them down, you can see that life force sticks out of, it goes more out of the right side than the left side, which makes sense. Energy coming on the left and goes out on the right. And then again, I have pictures of myself taking from by Killian photo equipment, and I can see the aura standing out about that far outside of me. If you take the any of your equipment, I bet you're going to find there is an emanation of light somewhere around them. It may be not equal.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, because we have, are you familiar with the BG3 pendulum from Robert? Yeah, and we have the tools tested with them, and they all have the
Yeah.
positive
Yeah.
BG3.
This equipment is hard to find, but you can find it on psychic fairs
Uh-huh.
or New Age fair or something like that. They often have these equipments there, or you can probably Google it and find it. There are people
Yeah.
that. So this could really.
Yeah, I'll have some ideas. I gotta jot that down real quick
Yeah.
because I think I have something where I can do that.
Yeah, because this is for the nuts and bolt people out there, that if you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, you
Yeah.
can't throw it in the air and shoot holes in it, then it doesn't exist.
Oh man, we
Yeah,
have some ways to go.
yeah. So, but I also want to touch on the protection. It's not just physical protection, but also, let's say you visit somebody, or know you're going to be with somebody that is a really, really negative person. Maybe they don't like you or you don't like them.
Yeah,
That energy, remember, thoughts are things, and that energy are also things. that can be detected by this sacred geometry and maybe in some way neutralized or altered? Or what would you say to that?
You know, the harmonizers create a spherical field around you. So this and we have different harmonizers. We have, like what I have is made out of 4 small sacred cubit harmonizers. Then we have them, you know, like unity, like 2 combinations together or 3 together. So it really depends. The stronger the harmonizer, the farther the protective field goes out. And so this is really important. And you know, so, and I remember Slim was once going to, because Slim was always very open, and of course he had a harmonizer. But I remember he went on a fair, and not so nice things have happened in the past, and I wanted him to be really protected, even more than what he usually is. I had him actually where this is our so-called manifestation ring. A lost cupid ring has a heavier wire, and I put that on a string and had him wear it under his shirt, over his solar plexus as a additional protection, so that nothing nasty could come into him, because he was so open and he loved to share. And I didn't want him to, because you know, some people just are especially talented in putting hooks in you, and so sometimes you need more than just the harmonizer. And so this is in this special case, and he was very grateful for this additional protection. So I would definitely, first of all, mentally protect you, and have a mantra like there's only love. And so when they
Yeah.
try to read your mind, so that's all they get. And so this is, you know, some people, they are reading your mind, and then if you know that, you just focus on love is all there is, and that already creates a protective shield. Because when our thoughts, and this is what you're saying, when we are thinking negatively about someone, they get it.
Yeah.
And so then we get it back. If they don't respond to it, then we get it back 100-fold. So, and then all of a sudden we wonder why we are not feeling well. And so this is why it's always helpful, no matter what comes our way, appreciate it, send it back, or just look what the lesson is and go from there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, there you go. That's something that we got to remember, because if we don't like somebody, but they protect themselves, if we send them bad energy or bad thoughts or negative thoughts of anything, if they don't get it, that energy got to go somewhere. The only place it knows where to go is back to you, and it magnifies. Oh, that's excellent
Yeah.
description. Yeah. I would like to show people your website, because
Sure.
there's quite a few products there. I'm going to share screen, and I am, there we go. I'm sharing sound and video. Can you
You
hear?
know, I will, if I can have your permission for one thing, and I can share my screen, because I would love to show you guys something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's look at this just for a little bit,
Okay.
and then you can do that. Here is the harmonizer you have been showing us in the
Yeah.
middle.
Mhm.
And the Light Life AccuVac coil. What is that? What is that used for?
The aqua coil is actually a part of the harmonizer, and the rings they go in both directions. You know, they go either way. They have this light tunnel, but the aqua coil has a bead. This one has it inside. The standard one has it. This one has it outside. The standard one have it inside. And whatever you want to pull something out, negative stuff, you hold it so that the bead is away from the area you want to pull something out. And
Mm-hmm.
when you created a void in the body, for example, then you turn it over and then you point the bead towards the void you created, so it is filled with light. And
Wow.
so then it is put in the harmonizer so that it's pulling out the negative that comes down and creates this coherent light field that goes out into the environment.
Okay. And then you have the light life feedback loop.
The
Is
feedback loop, that is like Slim compared he always had this coil in his pocket. And he compared the coil with a water hose and the feedback loop with the car pressure washer. So because this one is much smaller, it has more power, and so one side is pulling out, and it's transforming it, brings it back like a mirror effect, and then it's bringing positive stuff right in your body.
aha.
I recommend this when you work with acupressure points because you can give it a direction. If a point needs discharging, you pull out. If a point needs charging, you point the bead towards it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And yeah, there in the middle, you see that the tensor ring that you've been showing us.
And on
And
the left side is the is the lotus pendant, what I was sharing earlier. It's like the little sister of this one, and this is uh, helping you to stay within you, and this is picking up your personal energy. So this one you want to clean, but it can help you change the DNA to its original blueprint. It can help you stay calm in the middle of chaos. It can really help you to stay centered and even strengthen your immune system.
mm-hmm. Okay. And then yeah, that's it. Then I'll get out of here and you can show what you had there.
Okay.
Stop sharing. Okay, now you can share screen.
Okay. Wait a moment. Let me just go
Uh,
here and share screen. And where is it now? Wait a moment. It's gone
yeah.
now. Okay.
Down at the green one down at the bottom.
Yeah, I see that, but what I wanted to share is gone. So I
Oh,
have to pull that up again.
uh,
Okay, let's try that again. Here it is.
okay.
Okay, so this is,
Oh, wow.
that's a cosmic tower. I'm talking about paranormal. This is the washtub that I was showing you earlier.
Yep.
And on top is what's called a storm chaser. This is like what inside the washtub. And here, this is a synergy that is the three measurements, and that's a matrix 44, which is the little sister of the big one. And the woman who put that together, she is more something I call her a mystic because I don't even know. She has so many amazing, powerful qualities, and has a connection to the earth and to the cosmos. It's amazing. She
Yeah.
puts her energy in there. She was uh, programming them and talking about putting the best energy in there and combining piece by piece and all that. And the next thing was she has teaches people on a higher level of consciousness, and people from her group said, what are you doing? We notice a difference in the environment, in the atmosphere. And the next thing was a guy who does monitoring the frequencies on the planet, and he was let me take that off, or shall I keep it? And so he was giving a special broadcast because several people were asking him what happened in the atmosphere, because they noticed this change, and so they detected a frequency they haven't had before. But what they were saying was that this frequency actually can transform what's going our way that's not beneficial, so that we can start thinking for ourselves. and that we can actually, yeah, avoid being manipulated in the way we are.
Wow.
So our intention is to have more of those cosmic towers all over the planet, that more and more people are benefiting from the benefits of that, and be able to think clear in the midst of all the chaos that is trying to hit us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This the Native Americans have something similar that they have been using. I think they call it the dream circle or something, where
I
they
think
have a circle and they have wires in the middle, and it was made from originally it was not made of metal, but now they do, and
uh-huh.
maybe they're onto something there.
That could be. That could be at the dream catchers.
A dream
Yeah,
catcher, yeah, that's
yeah.
it.
I love those. I was always fascinated when I saw those. There is something to it. It's definitely, yeah,
That's good. Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, where can they get a hold of you? Tell us your website again and your maybe your email address where they can get a hold of you. If they get one of these devices, they may want to talk to you too. So
Sure. Shall I put it in a chat? Does people see
yes,
that? Okay. So lifelifetechnology.com is, and slimsperling.com may also be a good one to learn more about Slim and his research. And the best email is cs@ixel.com. This is when they have questions and when they want, because I'm traveling a lot and I don't always get to emails in a timely fashion. But if they put in there, please forward to Katarina, then they will do that.
yeah, okay. And that is light.
Lightlifetechnology.com.
Yeah,
But when people are from Europe, then they would have to go to lightlifetoolseurope.com, because we don't deliver a send product from the US to Europe, because we have a company in Germany that provides for the European
yeah.
customers. Makes it much easier.
And then your email address, say,
cs@ixel.com.
yeah. Is there a dash in between the X and the E and
Yes,
the, yeah,
there is a dash between the X and the E.
yeah. Okay, that's good. And we'll put that in the text
Okay, perfect. Yes, thank you.
on everything. So yeah, that would be
And we
good.
have a live workshop coming up in July in Pennsylvania, actually. So for people who don't want to come to Colorado, who are there somewhere, let me just give you the exact date. It's the weekend after the 4th. So it's July 13th and 14th. This is when we are doing the workshop in Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia. And it's one day is dowsing for geopathic stress, and the other day is all about the light life tools, and some can get a session, and it's going to be amazing. So
That's good.
I
Yeah,
highly
yeah,
recommend.
you travel a lot too, several times a year, putting on seminars, so
Yes, I'm
spread it.
doing a workshop in Germany, June 15 and 16. So that's also on our website. So when people want to touch and feel and experience the tools, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, but you're originally from Germany, right?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
from Bavaria, Germany.
yeah, you can't miss that German accent.
I never tried to, because I always say I'm fake when I talk American like Americans. I always felt that's not me, so that's why I never
Yeah,
tackled that speaking without an accent.
yeah, and And towards the tail end here, anything special that you want to tell people?
Well, with or without the light left tools, just make sure to stay focused on what you want and don't focus on what you don't want, because what we focus on grows. So, and if you have any health issues, you always have some part in your body that is still healthy. Focus on that and see yourself being healthy and see the world in harmony and peace, and don't go into all that stuff
Yeah.
that's not supporting us. I don't watch the news anymore. Stopped that years ago. I'm so visual, it stays with me forever. So just I start my day with focusing on the good things that I want to have happen today. And that's what I'm inviting people to do, because that's the choice we have. We
Yeah.
have free will, and we should actually use it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And then, well, oh, here's my favorite question. If you could talk to the whole world and the world was listening, what would you tell them?
What I just said, we are living in interesting times, and we have actually the power to create the world we want. And so let's have a harmonious and a peaceful world and focus on that. And just know the power of one person multiplied the, what did he say, two or more?
Yeah.
So we can make a difference, and we should use, and I usually don't shoot people, but I think it's a good idea to create the world that we want to live in.
Yep. In a mind-created universe, it all comes from the mind.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
whatever we have in our mind, that's what we're going to have in our existence. So make doggone sure we got good things that we think about all the time. And
Exactly.
if you have a really bad illness or something, don't tell the universe, please heal my cancer. My cancer. You're telling the universe you own it.
Exactly.
And you're
Exactly.
bringing the vibration of the word cancer. So the universe is going to look at you and say, wow, that's a lot of emotion around this one. I'll help you with more cancer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am healed. I am perfect shape. I am, and put next
Yeah.
to it what you want,
Yep.
because I am is power.
There you go. Oh, thank you for being with me again. This was good that we got all those testimonies out there, because this sacred geometry, that is the science of the future. It will be a day when it is commonly accepted and commonly used, and you're on the forefront of bringing that to the world. So I thank you for that.
Thank you so much for having me, and all the best to you and all your listeners, wherever you are. Enjoy life. That's our main purpose.
Yeah, thank you for being with
Thank
us.
you.